Hello tribe, welcome back to my channel. So today's setting is a little bit different. I am away from home, but I will be coming back soon, so we'll go back to normal. As usual, we have three options for you here today. I don't have any objects. I want you guys to choose purely with your intuition, not your eyes. Pile number 1 is on your left, pile number 3 is on the right. I am using the archetype deck, and let's get to it. I'll see you in timestamps. Hello tripod number 1 people, let's see what we got from the archetype deck. And I'm talking a little bit more silent than usual because my friends' children are going to bed. We have the fault line. Okay, I'm gonna be pairing these archetype cards together with tarot, and I'm gonna be reading it as a whole story, whatever needs to be highlighted for the next week and a half. And let's see. We have the Ace of Wands. Let me make sure that you can see. We have the Seven of Wands reversed, and I don't often take reversals, but in this case I want to. So I'm going to leave it reversed. We have the Ten of Pentacles. And let's clarify these. Let's see. We have the Six of Cups clarifying the Ace of Wands. We have the Queen of Cups clarifying the Seven of Wands. And we have Death clarifying the Ten of Pentacles. Let's peek at the bottom of the deck. We have the Hierophant. So let me just tune in and see what this all means to us for pile number 1. All right. Now I'm gonna jump into specifics here, and you're gonna have to determine if this is yours or someone else's. I'm seeing a situation where someone had some sort of an issue before. I'm getting there was a lot of tension between me and a female in my life. Next week and a half, especially if this is your family member or chosen family, doesn't have to be bloodline. It feels like any conflict or any tension that you may have had with that person is going to be over and done with. I am hearing resolution. I found resolution. Now, if this is not a female, this is someone who sits strongly in feminine energy. Someone who might be quite sensitive to other people's emotions. They're very in tune with their heart, and they are also in tune with other people's hearts, so they can feel what you feel. So they probably have to draw a boundary or learn how not to take over someone else's issues and place them first above everything else that they have to take care of in their own lives. Now, this could be a situation where someone struggles with that, and we're talking about an issue with yourself that you may have. If you felt like there was resistance, tension in your body through some sort of inner struggle or conflict, that I have to stand up for myself, or feel like I'm always being attacked, it feels like you're finding resolution the next week and a half. Now, what I really like here is that someone is making a situation that feels maybe it's, I'm gonna give you an example as if it was a piece of art, and you're gonna have to interpret it to your situation. Now, this fault line card, this reminds me every time I look at it of a Japanese tradition where, say, if the vase is cracked, they fix it with gold and it becomes much more beautiful than before. So it depends how we look at this crack, right? Depends how we see the crack itself. Here for pile number 1, we're seeing that this crack is not an issue for someone to see the potential or to see the beauty in someone or in a situation. And what I'm looking at this fault line now, I put it next to the Ace of Wands. I'm looking at the veins in this person's hand. Wow, this is a steampunk tarot, so it's very robotic-like. And there was some sort of inspiration that's coming from the imperfect situation or something. Say that, take that piece of art, right? You have everything laid out on your canvas and you want everything to be executed to perfection. And we all know that it doesn't exist, right? The beauty is on the eye of the beholder, but you very strategic and you very rigid in the way that you want that piece of art to look. And say, for example, you're almost done with that piece of art. Everything is the way that you want it to be, and you knock your paint and you spill it on that piece of art, and you go, oh my God, this is a tragedy. I cannot fix it now. But then the next day you wake up and you look at that piece of art and you go, damn, this is much more touching now. It has much more power in it when I look at it than it was before. It became much more interesting. There is more story to it. So that's what kind of situation I'm seeing here. For pile number ones, you also, your focus point might be on your family. Again, as I said, chosen family or your actual family. There are drastic changes happening in relationships with those people or one particular person. And it feels like, let me just clarify. Let's see how those changes will happen, where this leads you. Where does this lead you? You may want to become more distant with one particular person in your life, or someone becomes distant because of some sort of situation. Yeah, we have double the 10 here. It feels like there is a connection that's overwhelming, or someone that you know of might be going through very tough time and someone needs support. But for other group of people, it seems like whoever that person is, you may have felt that you needed, yeah, this is you, 8 of Swords. You needed to take a minute, a break from that connection because of some sort of reason. It made you feel a little bit lost. It made you maybe question yourself, and you didn't feel that that is a situation that you want to keep entertaining. So someone is split in ways, or someone is taking a break. There might be a bit of grief connected to the situation at first, because this is unusual maybe, or this is not something that we're used to. But I feel like you're going to overcome this, or whoever this person is, I'm not sure. What's interesting here, we're finding inspiration and we're finding some sort of value in something that we used to do. So for example, if you had a hobby as a child, or if you had a job when you were younger, this may resurface in some way within the next week and a half. A skill that you had and something that you used to do, you may have an urge to do it again, or to give something a second chance, or to invest more energy in it than you invested before. And it seems like something beautiful will come out of it. Can be quite a nostalgic week, and your attention is being drawn to the past. But for a lot of you, this attention is drawn to the past because there is something that you want to pick up from the past in order to revive it. And it's going to be quite beautiful. It's going to be, for example, when you were a kid, or when you were younger, you used to like, what's the example I should give you? I don't know, photoshopping images. And you would come up with really interesting art, like as a teenager, as a young adult, maybe it was surreal looking pieces of art, digital, right? And you might be very drawn to maybe video editing now, or editing pictures. Say, for example, you replicate your dreams and then you have the whole story behind it. Something like that. It's taking you somewhere, guys. So there is something we're picking up from the past, reviving. It could also be a connection in your life. So people from the past may resurface in your DMs, emails, I don't know, Facebook messages. And it's up to you completely what you want to do with this, but it feels like there is something there to be known about. There is inspiration there. There is happiness there. Okay, let's see what else. Where does your power lie? Okay, as I said, power, we have the Ace of Pentacles flipping. Where does your power lie? I'm just gonna pull two because I heard a sentence in my head. Intuitively knowing where there is potential. That's where your power lies. You'll intuitively know there's potential for a friendship, for a business partnership, for a connection, romantically speaking, with someone, or what is being offered to you, for example, a job, a project, whatever that would be. When we're talking about your material world, you able to see through the potential. So if something interests you, keep your eyes open, pile number one. Next week and a half, I would say investigate that Ace of Pentacles, as you might create something that's very long lasting. You'll know, that's the thing, that's where power lies. You will know intuitively if that's for you. And for a lot of you, whatever is being shown in your life, in some shape or form, is gonna be exactly what you'll want. I hope this made sense, pile number one. As usual, if you need more content or longer readings, I have my Patreon if you'd like to join me there. And have a beautiful week. Until the next one. Hello, pile number two. I'm going to talk a little bit silently today because my friends' children are going to bed. So I do not want to interrupt their sleep. And let's get to it. Let's see what we have from the archetype deck. You've got the Mentor. Oosh. Okay. Now, I do not have a book with me of this archetype deck, but my intention how to read these cards here today, I'm going to be joining them with tarot, and I'm going to be reading the story all together. Wisdom. Okay, let's see. Pile number two. We have a star. Okay, we have cosmos being shown here. We have the Fool. Damn, you have major arcana cards here. We have the Four of Cups. Let me see if you can see clearly. Okay, let's adjust it a little bit. We have the Six of Cups clarifying the Star. Interesting, because we had the Six of Cups in the exact position, if I'm right, for pile number one. We have the Seven of Cups after the Six, clarifying the Fool. And we have the Five of Pence. Okay, let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Give me a second. I'm going to tune in and see what's up. So what's interesting, pile number two, looking at your cards, it feels like the stars are aligning for two individuals to meet. And I'm hearing it both ways. This student is ready to meet the mentor, but also the mentor is ready to meet that student. Now this is going to apply in various ways. Specifically, this is for people who are looking for maybe someone to guide you through a situation, or a professional who could somehow help you in a situation that you are in. It can be as simple as, for example, you are in a city that you're not familiar with and you need some sort of guidance, and you waiting for a coffee, you chatting with a barista, and this other person who is in line hears the chat with a barista and says, hey, if you need something, hit me up if you're new in a city, or this is the place that you should check out, and that's exactly the place that you maybe needed. It was on your bucket list, and they give you directions, etc., etc. But what's interesting overall, doesn't matter in what way this is going to manifest next week, we're going to have someone is really happy to meet this other individual, and it feels like it was pre-orchestrated and it was all due to the timing. Okay, the timing had to be right because someone had to be ready to step out into maybe say, let's take that example, to step out of their environment, right? So traveling to a new place, living somewhere else, and then they meet that person once they're on the move, once they are exploring the city, etc., etc. But someone had to have a clear slate, and so something wasn't finished before that. That's why those two people have not met just yet. So those people who are looking for a mentor, a guide in some way, you are definitely meeting them. Or if you've been studying really hard to perfect something, to get really good at something before you release, for example, some sort of a course, you are ready next week, week and a half. This is also the week where people are looking at all their options that they have. You may feel quite free-spirited. You may feel that you want to explore, try new things that you haven't tried before, and you're looking at what the world has to offer. So you may feel a little bit spontaneous. And that spontaneity, it feels like it's going to be your power. That's where your power lies, because through that spontaneity, you meet in exactly the people that you need to meet, or you are discovering places that you need to discover. This feels very soulful though. Something to watch out for pile number 2, what you're spending next week, week and a half. You may want to resist an urge to buy something that you don't actually need. Sometimes when people buy things just to lift their mood up, because there might be a situation further down the line where you might need that amount of money that you've spent for something that is not as important to you as that thing that you need to get is. So something to watch out for is, how do you spend your money and what do you spend it on next week, week and a half? Because I'm seeing a lot of people might be focused on reviewing their finances, seeing how much they lack and how can they get more capital here. What can I do better? Or what can I refuse? For example, if you have a job offer and it doesn't really pay well, next week, week and a half, a lot of people actually may want to review it and say, you know what, the time and energy this requires me, it's not worth the wage that I'm gonna be getting. This isn't an equal situation. Or for example, that job requires you to travel an hour and a half. And you're like, you know what, I've calculated everything and it doesn't make sense for me to take that job opportunity. This is not something that sits right with me. So you're listening to your gut in a way, but you're also using your brain. It's like I'm looking at the charts on the computer, the calculations, but you're also trusting your gut that, you know what, there's something better that will arrive to me at the time when I need it. So I'm not just grabbing anything that I'm being given. Same would go for a relationship. You are not taking just crumbs. You're like, I don't deserve this. So you might even, if you have a person like that in your life, or if you allowed that behavior, you are going to probably find yourself leaving that situation. Let's see what else. Four of Wands, Nine of Swords, the Devil. Okay, what is this about? Let's get clarifying. Let's get clarifying. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. And we have the Page of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. I'm seeing someone stressing over their home environment, or someone that they live with or they used to live with. But when I tune into these cards, it doesn't seem that someone's supposed to be taking on what they're taking on upon themselves. Someone is feeling someone else's either stress or how their own choices or bad habits that brings in the chaos or brings in hurtful habits, self-destruction in some sense. They are stressing over someone else. Now, this could be you stressing over something due to the choices that you made. And you know that you are maybe still learning, or you are still practicing a better way of living, or how to deal with maybe some sort of addiction. And there is a bit of a struggle there. Make sure you have enough time to sleep next week. We're gonna have or have some sort of routine before you go to sleep that calms your mind. Now, for some of you, you may be shown in a dream what is an interference that somehow drains your energy. What is draining your energy? Why do you feel constantly weak or tired? For some of you, that might be energy in your space that you will be clearing out. For others of you, it seems like there is a habit or someone else's habit that you are dealing with. And therefore, we're learning how to navigate the situation. We're speaking about it. We're curious to know more. We want to be open, we want to be vulnerable, but I am getting a bit of a red flag here. If this is someone that you're dealing with, I would say careful how much you take upon yourself, especially if you're trying to save someone from their own bad habit or addiction, because the person themselves has to step up their game. This is entirely up to them how much they want that. And I see a lot of times people stress over their partners or their friends, and they invest so much time in it, and at the end their own health goes downhill. And we don't help that person too, because the more we worry about someone, the more of the dense, heavy energy we are shooting their way. I think this should be talked more about, how constantly worrying about someone can impact the other person. This is not the energy we want to send someone. And this is not a place we want to be in too. So finding better ways how to deal with a situation is something that we're learning about pile number 2 the next week, week and a half. How can I do better for myself and for this other person? Or if this is only you, how can I do better? How can I stop feeding this devil? Because these people are putting coals in that fire. How can I stop feeding the devil so that it stops hurting me? 10, the end. And I can start fresh. Again, this is somehow connected to either your home life, where you live, where you are, or maybe even your work situation. Somewhere indoors, I'm seeing. It's really important. I feel like the first step for pile number 2 is to create a cozy setup in your bedroom or the place where you sleep. Create a little sanctuary for yourself. Because you might be more vulnerable emotionally, mentally, spiritually for sure, at the time when you go into bed, especially during your sleep, right? So however this resonates to you, I feel like a lot of you already know. Just keep an eye on it. Don't get paranoid. As usual, I'm just reading whatever I see here. And for all of you, it's going to be different. But what's good here is that we recognizing what is the devil in the room. Okay? And it feels like we are putting a stop to it. Or at least we're getting better at dealing with this. So I hope this made sense, pile number 2. And as usual, if you need longer readings, more content, find me on Patreon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. So I'm going to be talking quietly here today because my friends and twins are asleep already. Let's go. Let's see. The archetype deck is the one that we're starting with, and I'm going to be pairing this card with tarot and reading it all together. You have the Self. Let's see how this ties in for the next week and a half with tarot for you. We have the Two of Cups. Talk about that, right? Talk about the relationship with the self. 9 of Wands, the Hangman, the 8 of Swords at the bottom, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. Let's peek at the bottom of the deck. You have the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, let me tune in here. Pile number 3, next week and a half, you have this strong sense of who you are, especially for those people who are struggling with authenticity or really didn't understand themselves or really wanted to dive deeper, to go to the core of who I am. That's where your focus lies, and that's where your power lies next week and a half. The way you view the world, regardless of how majority views the world, it feels like it's bringing in some sort of potential. So if you feel like you want to write, you want to sing, you want to somehow express yourself, or what is on your mind, right? What is on your mind? What comes from heart? First of all, your power center. And how you're able to read into situations and how you express yourself is really important. So this is a really good week for those people who have their own podcasts, who have meetings to lead, any leaders or anyone who also has their own businesses. If you are selling some sort of service or product, expect a boost in sales. Don't be afraid to speak from your heart. That's where the uniqueness comes from, the way you maybe carry yourself, the topics you choose to discuss, how your art looks. You're very focused now. I'm talking about people who are seeking to be either emotionally or financially independent. It seems that you're very focused and you're working your ass off. Make sure that you don't burn out. That's one thing to look. Yeah, that's something to watch out for. Because I'm seeing you very driven and very focused, but the moment you push yourself too much to the point where your body is weak, it straight away affects your mind. You do not have a clarity of mind, or you lose your focus. This is a really strong week for deepening connections. But again, somehow I'm getting you deepening connections with your soul family due to who you are deep down. There is a sense of uniqueness to you. Your view on the world is needed next week, week and a half. Those who were looking for job offers or collaborations or sponsorships, you may receive that the next week, week and a half. Someone can see you and can see your efforts. There is a reward for your hard work. And it may come in various ways. It doesn't have to be sponsorship or collaboration or a job opportunity or offer. It may come in various ways. It's like universe, God, whatever you believe in, is gifting you for your efforts. It's gifting you something. Could be a raise, a bonus, or a new, very important partnership that is coming in your way. Those who felt that you were not sure what to do with one particular relationship in your life, let's see. Yeah, it's like, do I want to invest in this or do I not? And if I do, how much do I want to invest in it? It feels like that relationship is changing with that King of Wands. Let's see, what is the change looking like? Justice, okay. Four of Cups. The Moon. And the Hierophant. What is being brought over here in this relationship is literally justice. If I kept giving or someone kept giving and I didn't receive anything back in any way, I feel like it's time to say no to this, and it's time to let this relationship to transform so that I can bring in a contract that I need. There is a sense here that there is something dragging or lacking, or someone is very rigid, even greedy, I would say, in this situation, and they keep resisting something that is making the other person feel that they don't know where they stand. They don't know what to do. Should I stay? Should I go? If to invest my time or money in this partnership, I am not sure. And next week, week and a half, observe your dreams. Your subconscious will be telling you what you need to know about that relationship. Because I'm seeing here what people are seeking for really, would it be a romantic or business partnership, is something really solid, a good, solid contract. And maybe someone is not ready for that good, solid contract. That is why we're focusing on the self, if that's the case. There is a lesson here for someone that is very needed. Whoever this person is, who is not pulling their own weight, it feels like it's more their lesson than the other person's. That's the feeling that I get about this. Let's see what else. Where does your power lie, pile number 3? Where does your power lie? Okay, we got it. Taking it one step at a time, whatever the situation. If you get in an offer, you have an idea, sleep on it. Do not jump into conclusions straight away. Literally sleep on it. If you have a project, or if you're working on something, or you tend to be impatient, next week, week and a half, your power lies in patience. I'm gonna take an hour to reply. Let me think about this. I'm not gonna jump into messaging them back straight away. I feel like I need a bit more time. Either I feel it intuitively that I need to wait, or I do not want to be someone who is going to say something that I might regret later. So you literally waiting it out until taking action. Then it's much clearer for you how you want to respond, what you want to say. I'm looking at these sun rays here as a sense of clarity that I needed at that time. Yeah, you're paralyzed in knowing when to stop and when to act, but it feels like it's gonna come from your intuition. You'll intuitively know what to do. I'm hearing give it time. I'm picking up a message for someone. Give it time. You've been shown a sign to give it time. Give it more time. It's okay. You'll know what to do soon enough. Anything to watch out for or to avoid, pile number 3. And be discerning with these messages, because I'm tapping into the collective, so you'll know if that's for you or if that's not intuitively. Anything to watch out for. These are for people who might be dealing with a situation where a person is interested in 2 individuals romantically. It's saying watch out for the triangle. Is that something that you really need? Because in order for that triangle to happen, there has to be a relationship that already has a crack in it. Otherwise, none of those people would be interested in another person. There's already a crack in that relationship. But in order for that third person to come into picture, they have to feel in a way there's something lacking. There's something lacking within myself. Maybe I'm lacking self-love, or I'm really like desperate for something in order to accept to be the third wheel. Yeah, it might sound harsh, but that it is what it is. Because if you presented an opportunity for a relationship with someone else who's already in a relationship, to a person who is very grounded and who knows what they're worth, they would say, okay, you can contact me whenever you are done with that situation. We might talk then. Now, this is chaos, and that's not something that I'm going to entertain, or that's not something that I need in my life. So you gotta make up your mind what you want to do with that relationship, and then we can talk afterwards. I might not promise anything to you what's gonna happen in the future, but I'm not being an asshole in that sense, right? So that's something to watch out for. If I had to tell you a story in an abstract way here, what cards are saying, watch out for getting involved in situations that are not, we have the saying back home, not for your nose. When I looked at this Queen of Pentacles, not something that is for you. It feels like you might feel like an outsider in one particular situation. And if you feel that way, it's saying you might consider walking your path instead of getting involved in this. Okay? I hope this made sense, pile number 3. As usual, if you need more content, longer readings, find me on Patreon. And I'm wishing you all a beautiful week. Bye for now.